As promised, I wanted to walk you through the arts and culture exploration activity that you guys are going to be doing on Friday. You have until next Friday to do. Okay. That is my son yelling. I'm so sorry. So this is the document. For whatever reason, it does not open in Google Docs like it's supposed to. So here's what you need to do. Open it up in Google Docs. And then I need you to make a copy. And then you put your name here. Okay. And then you'll work in this document to complete the tasks. So I've linked everything that you need. And let's walk through this together. So you're going to go to this website. And let's get this all on one window. Maybe. Okay. And that link will pull this up. Okay, and then I give you step-by-step instructions. So I just want to model for you what it's going to look like for you. I want you to just explore and navigate what this resource has to offer. Select an activity or a reading, type what you've selected here, and then summarize what you've learned. Okay, so this one's wide open. There are so many things that you can look at here. Like, for example, you could look at information about the Hubble telescope. Okay, picking up where we left off, I had to pause it again because my son is a hot mess, apparently. You can even look at, like, facts about the bento box, right? And literally it just walks you through kind of like a visual lesson of these like cultural and artistic elements of various regions. So never seen this one before, so like I mean you really just, it's like an open-ended exploration. If you like street art, you could look at this particular like, I don't know if it's like an article or what, but I mean, it's just like this really cool resource of a variety of different mediums. You could explore Great Pyramids of Giza, where you get access to things that you wouldn't normally get access to because we don't live in those regions, right? So I want you to explore a couple things and see like what you learn about art that's new to you. Those of you who like ballet, there's this, Misty Copeland on Swan Lake. There's just so many really cool things that you can do with this particular website. So I just want you to kind of get a nice breadth of understanding. Here's where you can sign up for your 5 a day, okay, which are pieces of art. You can zoom in and look at the detail of these like really influential and quintessential pieces of art, including, oh my gosh, a whole section on yoga, which is totally my thing. Monet, culture and art and what we wear, inventions. It really truly is an exploration of art and culture from across the world. So that's your first task, is to really just open yourself up. I want you to spend a good chunk of time here. Okay, in class I'd probably give you at least 30 minutes, so please do that. Experiments, you go back to the home page. Under the search bar, you go down to where it says experiments. And there are a variety of different things here. This should look familiar from the PowerPoint on art appreciation. Okay, and I want you to pick at least 2 of these little experiments and follow the instructions and do what it asks you to do. And it should engage your mind on levels of certain artistic elements that, and it'll guide you through it. So sometimes there's an intro video, sometimes it goes straight into some sort of activity, but your job is to linger and learn. Then tell me the experiments you selected and briefly summarize what it explored or what you learned. I would like you to select at least 2. Okay, and that's part 1. Part 2, I want you to go to the art palette experiment. And I've linked that for you. And I want you to watch the intro video and then launch the experiment. Okay. And this is essentially about color schemes and color theory, and that's something that we are hopefully going to have time to talk about. And it's sort of, you pick your color scheme, and then basically you get to see all the pieces of art that sort of incorporate that color scheme. You won't skip the intro, but I am, just for the sake of being able to show you what it's like. Actually, let's do that. Maybe some orange and yellow, and I don't know, let's do purple. Okay. And then, once you've selected your color palette, and I have done the wildest color palette, I guess, known to man, I'm going to switch it and try to get more Monet-like in my color scheme here, which means I need more muted colors. So let's do some greens. Ha! Much better. No Monet here, which means this is too bright. And more green. Very interesting. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I want you to do what I just did, basically. Play around with the color palettes and see what pieces of art show up, and then pick 2 of the paintings or pieces of art that are most different from one another, and then list them here. So you put the title by so-and-so, and then articulate to me how the use of color affects the overall impact of the painting on you, the viewer. Be specific and analytical in your response. Consider what colors evoke certain emotions or what colors symbolize what. Feel free to use your resources if you're stuck. Like, this is not a test, and it's open notes, so you can use whatever resources you have to be able to kind of more fully understand the role of color in conveying meaning in a piece of art. Task 3 is the X degrees of separation. I've linked that directly as well. And here's the overview. Watch the intro video. This is basically about how 2 pieces of art can be connected through a chain of artworks. So, if we launch the experiment, what is the connection between a 4,000-year-old clay figure and Van Gogh's Starry Night? How do you get to one piece of art leading to the next? Okay. It won't let me skip the video. There we go. So let's say I want to see the connection between Frida Kahlo and I don't want the first one. Let's do this one. Frida Kahlo, and this, what I'm assuming is a painting of some sort of ballet dance. We see the progression of the form and how it shifts. And this is sort of our intermediary styles, and then we get a Frida Kahlo piece. Okay. I like this experiment because it allows you to see the formal and artistic connections between 2 disparate works. Okay. So let's do that one. And this one. Interesting. Okay, I could spend hours on here. I don't want to waste your time because you're going to do it on your own. What you're going to do, watch the intro, then experiment. What do you notice about the unity and universality of art? Despite major stylistic differences and even different levels of merit or quality, what seems to be the defining characteristic of art? what makes art truly art, okay, and then how do we see this sort of spectrum of style, okay, that's being connected with this experiment. And then the last task that you're going to do, you're going to look at the artist. So if we go back to the home page, under the drop-down menu, you hit Artists. And I want you to pick 3 artists, write their names down, and write down what art movement they belong to and some of their major works. Interesting facts and tidbits about their lives, artwork, contemporaries, anything that you find interesting. Okay. So let's do, I say, Frida Kahlo is incredibly interesting. Okay. She was in this terrible car accident, or a bus accident that left her paralyzed, so a lot of her art is dealing with her recovering from that accident. You could do Georgia O'Keeffe, Claude Monet. There are so many in here. I want you to pick a couple and just kind of explore them. Okay, this is all about art appreciation. There are some more things we're going to be doing with art. So this is just our sort of first foray into understanding art and culture. And the Google Arts and Culture resource here is just incredible because it very clearly articulates and shows you the way that art and science and history and philosophy and humanity are all interconnected. And that is my goal as we sort of wrap up this year, the next 2 months. And for seniors, it's even less than that. Okay. If you have questions, as always, email me. I hope that this explains some things for you. Don't forget that when you open the link on Schoology, that you make a copy of it. I'm going to fix this link as well so that it's easier for you. But remember that you're making a copy. You put your name in this little title before it so that I know when you finally share it with me exactly who's turned in what. Okay? And that's all I've got for you.